Hey, what's up, guys? Bill the Universe, and I'm gonna do the chart of Jack Quaid. I've had a crush on Jack Quaid since I think like probably in the last year. I've been a fan of The Boys, that show on Amazon that he's on, and I always like, oh, that's cool. He's so and so's son, and the other thing that gets my attention about him is that people talk about nepotism and how he is supposedly an example of nepotism. But I gotta be honest, like when I heard that, I actually didn't get that vibe at all, like not in the least. And um, Claire Nocti, the she's an occultist and she's a Vedic astrologer. She actually did a survey on people who come from famous parents or whatever, and the vast majority nakshatra was Revati, which is a star in Pisces, and he has no Revati in his. Oh yes, he does. His Venus is in Revati. But that does Venus talks for a man. Venus talks about his lover, and what brings him joy and what gives him harmony in life. So that really doesn't have much to do with the sun, the father and mother planets, which is the sun and moon. Sun is father, moon is mother. So there is nothing that way. I don't see any Revati or anything that suggests nepotism. I do see an intense chart, um, not in a hostile way, but I do see a very intense chart that is strong enough, in my opinion, to achieve whatever he wants to on his own. So I kind of wanted to start from there. But the other thing, but here's like what's awesome that I really wanted to say. This is like the biggest, like the thing that most stood out most for me in this chart, and I want to start with it, is that even though I see no signs of nepotism in his chart, I actually do see that both his parents are stars. That actually is in his chart, and it's not so much that it's a star that they're both famous stars. But so what you do is Jupiter, sun is talks most about the father, but different planets can talk about areas of the same thing. So Jupiter also will talk about the father, and when I want to look at the father in someone's chart, when I want to look at information about their father, I will go ninth house from the Jupiter. Ninth house from Jupiter from him is the sun. So, and the sun is a star, right? It's not a planet. So I think that's really interesting. So it means that even if he wasn't famous, I would say that his father, and not just that, but first of all, his son uh, um, is in Ashvini, which is a star in Aries. So he's an Aries sun. This is Vedic astrology, by the way. This is different from regular astrology. This is more accurate. And it's a 4,000-year-old Indian tradition. I'm telling you, this is more accurate. And so anyway, it's in Ashvini, the star of Ashvini, in the constellation of Aries. So he's in Aries. Ashvini is the exaltation point for the sun. Like of all 360 degrees for of the zodiac, this particular star, which is only a 13-degree window, called Ashvini, it's a star in Aries. This is the best part, the most lifted up. The sun acts on his fullest potential in this part. He's at home in Leo, but he is it's like he's more famous, or he's more brought up, he's more exalted. It's called exaltation point, you know. And his son is in this, Jack Quaid's son is in this. So anyway, ninth house from Jupiter is his son, and his son is exalted. His son is in the best part it can be in the entire zodiac. So that can mean that his father even is incredibly successful or incredibly proud, very like accomplished or very proud of his accomplishments. Is a very successful man, or and it doesn't have to necessarily even mean he's nice. This could also mean because Sun is Aries and Aries is Mars, right? So it could mean that it could mean that, and it's Sun, and Sun is egotistical, right? So this can mean the dad is egotistical and sexy and materialistic and uh, very proud and is the light of every room because it is the sun. So ninth house from Jack Quaid's Jupiter is the sun. And when you want to look at the quality of that, because it could mean that he's a fucking dickhead, right? So maybe if that was the case, then Jack Quaid's sun would be in Libra because sun is debilitated in Libra. Or maybe if it was like gay through conjunct sun, then it would mean that maybe his father's passed away, or his father has drug issues, or his father has mental issues. You got to look at the quality. So ninth house from Jupiter is the sun, and the sun is in Aries and Ashwini in the exaltation. So it's working good for him. So this is a good placement for Jack as a man. This is where he can really shine his full glory without being inhibited in any way. Which I can see how people would be jealous of that, or haters that would attract haters, because Ashwini is also an attractive star. They're lean, they're smart. They don't really they don't really show off how smart they are. But I've seen Ashwini people who are like at doctorate level intelligence of certain fields, certain things. My grandfather had a doctorate in theology, and he was an Ashwini. And my cousin was literally number 3 at University of Texas. Oh no, number 7 or something like that. Literally number 7, and he's an Ashwini son. So Ashwini's son is, I'm telling you, for men especially, because men are naturally masculine and egotistical. um, uh, it's just, this works really well for him. And here's the other thing. Here's what's also fucking crazy. So his father is Randy Quaid or some Dennis Quaid. I don't know, one of them. His mother is the very beautiful, very talented Meg Ryan. And so when you want to know about the mother, you go fourth house from the moon, because moon is mother, and then fourth house is the moon. So fourth house from his moon is the sun. So that also means that his mother is a star, right? That also means that actually, this is pretty interesting. His moon placement is in Shravana, which is a very actually feminine placement for a man. This makes them good looking and tall, and honestly, it can really help like lengthen the penis. um, but it does give them more feminine like qualities. So yeah, but and you can say that about the mother too. The mother is very sensual. The mother is very beautiful. It's very feminine because Shravana is ruled by the moon. So, and the moon is the mother, like I said. So moon is the most feminine planet. So it's interesting. So he's got a very masculine sun. Jack Quaid has a very masculine sun, having an exalted sun in Aries. And ninth house from his Jupiter is the sun. So it's like he gets this like strong positive aura, a masculine aura from his father, and he shares that with his father. But also from his moon being very feminine, he has this very feminine energy or feminine way of thinking, very receptive type of person that he gets from his mother. And then he shares that from his mother. So he actually gets, it's kind of polar opposites. He has a very masculine side to him, and then he's got a very, very feminine side to him. You know what's interesting is, I'm not going to lie, and I hope if he ever hears this, and I'm sure he will, I actually get, I'm not going to lie, please don't be offended, Jack, but I get like kind of bisexual vibes. I keep getting like, and it's not even so much queer, but it's just that, because I actually technically don't see queer placements. There are queer placements, and I kind of don't really see it. Kind of. That's the thing. But I do see a lot of polarity. Like, I do see a lot of, oh, this and this, but then this is this, or oh, I like this, but then look, it's just like I see so much like up and down. First of all, that sun is so masculine, but then that moon is so feminine. He's got his Mars in Purva Bhadrapada, and Purva Bhadrapada can be bisexual. It's Aquarius, and it's not because. It's not even because they're like queer or gay or anything. It's like that's actually really not it. Purva Bhadrapada is just like such an experimenting, such a open minded, such a you know they actually they kind of look at they're good at looking at life very objectively, and sometimes they're even good at like not even thinking of themselves as humans. So there's just like so human little pettiness, like being like queer or gay or whatever, that doesn't like phase them, especially with an Ashwini sun and a Purva Bhadrapada Mars. The other thing about Purva Bhadrapada is that it's kind of gangster. Like literally, like these people, Purva Bhadrapada will be like really good dads and like very supporting and they'll be religious even. They can be are very philosophical at least, or very deep thinkers and this and that. And then they'll go off and do some gangster shit, like be involved in violence or be involved in something very masculine, even something even toxic masculine. You know what I mean? Like literally be a gangster. And it's interesting because his sun is in Uttara Falguni, which is a star in Virgo. So he's a Virgo ascendant. Oh, did I say his sun? I'm sorry. I meant his ascendant. It's interesting because his ascendant is in Virgo, the star of Uttara Falguni. Uttara Falguni is the absolute most masculine star in the zodiac. So Aries is the most masculine sign, and the sun is the most masculine planet. But Uttara Falguni has been shown to be the most masculine nakshatra. Nakshatra meaning star. So, and it's actually half in Leo, half in Virgo. His is in Virgo. Uttara Falguni ascendant is also very masculine, and it's also very intense. And that coupled with the fact that he's got a Purva Bhadrapada Mars, and his Ketu is in Ardra, which is in Gemini. And Ardra is actually the star of Betelgeuse, which is the shoulder on Orion, the hunter. And so the hunter is the predator. And I have actually looked up this star very deeply, and this star is actually tied with like predator energy, like all over the world. Like in ancient African mythology, this star Betelgeuse, or in Hindi we call it Ardra, but the star Betelgeuse was associated with the predatory gaze of the lion. That's why it glows red, and then he would always look at the three stars on the Orion's belt. And in African mythology, those would be the zebras. So it's like going back thousands and thousands of years. This particular star, even in ancient Chinese mythology, this star battles Antares, which is in Scorpio. And Scorpio is already known for being intense. So this star is known to rival Scorpio, and he has this star in his Ketu. Ketu can be is like the energy of your past life. If you believe in past lives, what kind of a life have you been living in your past? And in your Rahu is kind of like what kind of a life you will lead in future lives, but not this life. Not exactly. Don't be so focused on your Rahu, because it's all about the future, and you shouldn't focus on the future. You should focus on the now. Anyway, yeah, so he's all that stuff just tells me that he's actually, like I said, a lot more intense than you would think. Like a lot more intense. And this actually says that he's incredibly intelligent. His moon is in Shravana, and Shravana is, that's in Capricorn, by the way. He's a Capricorn moon. But he's a Shravana moon, that's the star. And Shravana itself is ruled by the moon. So his moon is the lord of his moon is the moon. So that is very up and down because the moon waxes and wanes. It's never steady. So, and it's in the Aries Navamsa. So not only is an Aries sun, but he's got his moon in the Aries Navamsa. So it's like this is a very what do I want to say? Like the energy is so much and it's packed in such a tight little weenie body that he just can't help but go. But I also see a lot of sensuality, a lot of like I could be drinking. Actually, Shravana drinks a lot, especially Shravana Ascendant. But Shravana Moon people can drink a lot too. A moon in general, like I said, is so sensual. In ancient Hindu mythology, Brihaspati, which is Jupiter, was married to the moon, who is Tara. And she is so sensual. She was never insatiable. I mean, she was insatiable. She could never be satiated. And she actually cheated on the moon. I mean, she actually cheated on Jupiter. I forgot with who, Mars, and gave birth to Mercury. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. He's got his Rahu in Mula. That's interesting. Mula people are usually um, also pretty tall and pale and skinny. Uh, I noticed that. Or they'll be really fucking big and huge. I'm talking about The Rock, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the Undertaker. Those people are Moolah ascendants. What's his name? Shaq has his mid heaven in Moolah, and you know what Moolah people can be a lot is cops, and firefighters and military. But I see a lot of Mullah people. I'll see a lot of Mullah men going to the military, then coming home and becoming either a cop or a fireman. So that's interesting. My computer is pretty low. But yeah, fourth house from his moon is the sun. So that means that both his parents are stars. Even if he wasn't famous, it would mean that both his parents are very big headed, or both his parents are very proud, or both his parents are very successful. You know, because if both these placements from either parent lead up to the sun, and the fact that his native sun is exalted in Ashwini, that just means very successful, very positive, glorious results for the parents. So, but I do want to say that I do wonder if there's a little bit of depression um, here because the Saturn is conjunct the moon, and but it might not be because Saturn conjunct the moon can lead to depression. But the thing is that his Saturn is in Capricorn, so his Saturn is sitting in his own sign. So that means that it doesn't have to be Saturn. If Saturn is his own house, then he's happy. So this could just also mean that he's an incredibly hard worker. He's very methodical, and I see a lot of sleeplessness with this. I see a lot of high energy. You're not able to sit down, sit still, probably is why he's so sensual. Because I do see a lot of like I don't know. I might be wrong, but I see a lot of pot smoking, or I see a lot of sensual pleasures and stuff like that. Um, but I also see like a melancholiness, and this would be a melancholiness that he gets from his mom. His mom, this was suggested. His mom is an incredible force on her own. Like the fact, if I'm talking about his mom, if I didn't know that his mother was Meg Ryan, I would say his mom was very very structured, very determined, very proud. Like I said, because the son, very hardworking, very honestly very pompous as well. But not because she's a bad person. It's just there's too much masculinity there to describe a woman. Too much masculine qualities like independence, aggression, being a go getter, and being organized and clean, and being very taking home ec to the max, like spending all day cleaning your house, spending all day cooking, like just doing the most with your home, um being very, yeah, I mean, being a very very proud person, going after being a go-getter, being brave, so that's a lot of masculine qualities to describe someone's mother. And Saturn and can be the ruler of masses. Saturn can be the CEO, and his mother was at one time the fucking highest paid actor in Hollywood, man or woman. Meg Ryan was the fucking goat, back in her day. And Saturn, Saturn's natural sign is in Capricorn, and here, natural sign is in Capricorn. His Saturn is in Capricorn, so this means that his mom, uh, had a lot of like had no block, didn't have a lot of blocks when it comes to success. You know, I mean, even if they did, I'm telling you, the energy and the drive was just too much. Anyway, I feel like I've been talking a while. 20 minutes? I think that's okay. All right, guys. Bye. What's up, y'all? It's Bill, the universe. And I'm going to do a video on David Corenswet. He is the guy that's going to be playing Superman. And, yeah, as soon as I heard that he was going to be the new Superman, I was like, damn, this guy's fine. And then sometimes, like, I don't know, sometimes I kind of purposely ignore someone because they're so attractive. I don't know why, because I'm just like, I want to like you for more than just, you're so beautiful. You know what I mean? But in the years past, I saw him in Twisters, and he was really good. And then as time passes, the more and more pictures of him in production as Superman, and I'm just like, damn, he's fine. So, fuck. Here I am, looking at his chart. I was watching Beetlejuice in the movies, and honestly, half the time I was looking at his chart. Okay, so this is Vedic astrology. I don't do regular astrology. This is Vedic astrology. This is a 4,000-year-old Vedic Indian tradition. And this is based off of where the planets, under what certain stars, not just the constellation or the sign, but under exactly what stars they are under. So, Mr. Corenswet is a Gemini. He is a Punarvasu sun. Punarvasu is a star ruled by Jupiter. So whenever you see really tall people, every time I see tall people, I'm always like, they have Jupiter in their chart. Either they have Jupiter in their first house, like what's her name, Taylor Swift. She's a tall woman. Or they will have a Jupiter moon, which I can't think of anyone right now at the moment. Of course, I can remember times talking about someone with the Jupiter moon, talking about why they're so tall, but I can't remember exactly who at the moment. But but I definitely see right here that he is a Jupiter sun, because his sun is in Gemini, in the Jupiter-ruled star, Punarvasu. This Jupiter blesses you with size. It also really just blesses you with artistic ability in general. So Beyonce has Jupiter in her first house. And also she's a Vishaka moon, which is a Jupiter-ruled star. So she's very, very Jupiter. And she's actually a average height. But like I said, Jupiter endows someone with a lot of artistic knowledge and flair. And she's incredibly, she writes all her own music. She's a fashion icon. People who are Jupiter, they are, they're very creative people, and it gives them a long body. But I definitely got a Rahu sense from him, more than his Jupiter. I found out just today that he's 6'4". So I actually didn't know that he was so tall, and then I found out he's a Punarvasu sun. I'm like, oh yeah, no shit. Okay, but I didn't actually get that. I always get a Rahu vibe from him. Rahu is very sexy. When men are Rahu, they're very sexy, and but in a darker way. It's more of a bad boy type of good looking. So, what's his name? Jacob Elordi. He is a Rahu sun. He's an Ardra sun. And there's this meme of this little girl texting her mom saying, "This is my boyfriend." And she was like, and it was a picture of Jacob Elordi, and the mother texted back saying, "You're not allowed to date him. That man looks way too dangerous." And she meant like, he looks like, he loves to fuck. He looks like he is a player. He looks like, he probably enjoys deviant sex or stuff like that. So just like, that's what I mean when I say dangerous. And also Rahu just is a predator in general. So I'm not saying this guy's a predator at all, but I am saying when people exercise this Rahu in the real world, Rahu is mostly associated with lions, and that's a whole another video. But when people exercise this Rahu energy, they're very, very, very successful because they go after what exactly they want, just like the lion, right? So lions are innocent, but they're still predators because that's just their nature. I should reverse that. They're predators, but they're still innocent because that's just their nature. This is kind of like the same with Rahu. So another Rahu person is Elon Musk, and another Rahu person is Bill Gates. So you see what I mean? Like when I say predator, like that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a fucking rapist. It means that you're someone who's so hyper motivated and ambitious that you kind of have like this predator sense where you kind of zero in on your target. And so that's definitely and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like they kind of do give a mean vibe. Not to say that they are mean, because honestly, in my findings, in my observations, Rahu, especially Rahu men, are some of the most sensitive people like ever, and a lot of times this is actually why they have such a tough exterior, is because they're actually incredibly sensitive. They know what people are saying about them. And a lot of times they care what people think about them. They care what people say about them. Rahu is very, very complicated that way. But Rahu is also very motivated, like I said, very genius. Again, there's a lot of creativity with Rahu. So he has double creative. Actually, this is a really creative chart, because now I'm looking at his Mars. His Mars is in Leo, in Purva Falguni. Purva Falguni is such a sexual placement. For your Mars to be in Leo, that already amps up the sexualness. And the fact that, the moon is being ruled by Rahu. Rahu is sensuality and sexuality, and it's also wealth. But Mars in Leo is going to up the sexuality. It's going to up the artistic flair. It's going to up the passion in your sex life and your love life. And the fact that Purva Falguni is ruled by Venus, so these give people more artistic flair. These people are just artsy in general. But what people don't know about Purva Falguni is that yes, it's very sexual because it's Venus, and yes, it's very artistic, but it's also very intelligent, and it's also very ruthless. Purva Falguni is a Ugra Nakshatra, so that means that they're capable of doing very, very harsh things. They're very capable of doing very bloody things. They're capable of doing very violent things. Purva Falguni is no joke. And the fact that he's a Punarvasu son, because Punarvasu can be very two-faced. Punarvasu can mean like, yeah, on one hand, I'm a supporter, I'm a family man, I'm a good guy, I'm even philosophical and I can be spiritual. But on the other hand, I've done some real gangster nasty shit. Like, so, there's a lot of that play in this chart. So the last thing I want to say, because I want to go, I'm almost like out of patience. For some reason, I'm out of breath too. He's got his Rahu in the 10th house. Now this is looking at his moon chart because I don't know his ascendant, so I can only go off of his moon chart. Which, by the way, he's got Saturn in his moon, which makes a lot of sense. Which probably gives off the reason why he looks like he's such a cold person from afar, because he's got that really stoic face and like not even a hint of a smile. But like he's got Saturn conjunct moon, and his Saturn and moon is in Aquarius. So it's like the ruler of his moon is Saturn, and that's conjunct his moon. So the ruler of his moon is conjunct his moon. On one hand, that could be a good thing, but on the other hand, actually, you know what? In my opinion, in my experience, that makes for someone who's incredibly serious, someone who should watch out for their mood, because they do tend to be more negative than anything else. But I will say the good thing about this is that they're very hard workers. They really know how to put in the time. But the other thing was Rahu is in this 10th house. So the three biggest placements for fame, in my opinion, is Rahu in the 10th, Rahu in the 1st, and Moon in the 12th. and he has his Rahu in the 10th. So does Julia Roberts. And, Rahu is illusion. So, in the 10th house is the house of like public display. And when people see you, they can see your ascendant and your sun, whatever, but they actually really mostly see your 10th house, because 10th house is the mask that you put on in public. So that's what 10th house is. So he's got he's got Rahu in his 10th house, and that's like perfect for an actor. That's like exactly perfect for an actor. And his Rahu is in Jyeshtha. That's a star. That's the star of Antares, which sits in the heart of the Scorpio constellation. So he's an Antares Rahu, or he's a Jyeshtha Rahu. He's a Scorpio Rahu. And I wonder if he was a piano player, because Jyeshtha people are can be really good piano players. I'm a Jyeshtha ascendant, and I'm a piano player and a piano teacher. Beethoven was a Jyeshtha son. What's his name? Mozart was a Jyeshtha moon. Mars likes the piano, because I know a lot of Buddhini people, which is Aries. They like piano too. I know a Buddhini sun person. Oh, Miley Romick is a Buddhini sun. He plays piano. Who's that? Who's that sexy guy? The tall Adam Driver. He is a Buddhini sun, or Buddhini moon. And he is a piano player. So, I don't know why I went off on a piano tangent. Anyway, he could be a piano player. But Jyeshtha is also very sexy. Jyeshtha men are usually tall and slim. Brad Pitt is a Jyeshtha ascendant. And Jude Law is a Jyeshtha ascendant. So, he's lucky, because Jyeshtha can be ugly sometimes, because I'm actually pretty ugly. I mean, I have a beautiful soul. I mean, I'm beautiful. But I mean, my body, my face, it's okay, and it can do that. It can actually kind of make you not very good looking. So he's actually very lucky. Another Jyeshtha native who's not very known for his good looks is Donald Trump. So, but what we all have in common is Jyeshtha being Scorpio. Jyeshtha is about fighting, and Jyeshtha is about winning. Jyeshtha is also about putting in the time, putting in the effort. And even though you're instigating a fight, you're not doing it just to cause havoc. You're actually doing it because you really, truly love something. Or want something. Jyeshtha also means the eldest. So these people can be the eldest of their siblings, or they'll definitely be the most successful of their siblings. So Jyeshtha actually means a lot of things. The other thing about Jyeshtha is Jyeshtha actually gets a lot of haters. Jyeshtha gets a lot of people jealous of them. People say that Jyeshtha people can be jealous, and actually I can attest to that. I actually can be a very jealous person. I don't show it. And I'm pretty good at internalizing. I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty good at being like, hey, he's human too. We're all just navigating this crazy thing called life. Like, there's no reason to get jealous of someone, But, but actually what I see a lot is people getting jealous of Jyeshtha. So, and then his Ketu, which is the south node of the moon, is in Rohini, which is in Taurus. This will make him very sexy. Rohini men are tall and sexy. And honestly, I don't want to go too much into it. I guess the one last thing I would like to say is that he's got Venus conjunct Ketu, but he's got his Venus in a sun nakshatra. So this means that, and the fact that he's a moon Jupiter, which is how he is as a husband, this can mean that he actually likes to be with women who are very independent, even though they're very feminine. He likes them to be workers. He likes them to be not so mousy and dependent on him, and not to say he doesn't like feminine women, because that's not what I'm saying. He just doesn't like a woman. He likes a woman who stands on her own 2 feet. But at the same time, Ketu is there, so either she's going to be very, very spiritual or religious, or she might actually have mental issues. Or he'll attract a lot of women who are very strong, so strong that they actually might wear the pants in the relationship, because he's a Hasta Jupiter. So he actually, and the fact that he's a Jupiter sun, he's a Punarvasu sun, those people are the husband archetype, and they can actually be the type of husband that get run over, get cheated on, stuff like that. So they might actually, the fact that Ketu's there, it can mean that he attracts very it could mean that he attracts drug addict women. It could also mean that he attracts like women with a lot of mental issues, women who cause a lot of problems for him because of their problems that they have because of their own mental problems. Or on the upside, if he does that, he's gonna eventually choose women that are very, very spiritual, or have a very, even like psychic, like have spiritual gifts. Okay, that's enough. It's 15 minutes. I gotta go to my next student. All right, guys, bye.